There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition? There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down to make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah. make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down to make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring it master teacher. Bring it freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring it master teacher. Bring it freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to rob brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down to make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do everything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. on spirit, and without knowing we could never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring the master teacher, bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. For the master, bring the master teacher, bring the freedom for the master, master teacher, 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 freedom for the master. Teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down and make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth the lies must fade away. It's been a long time coming, yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking, it won't be long to make our dreams come true, for a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher, freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring the master teacher, bring the freedom for the master,
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do everything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master. Freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master. Freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring it master teacher. Bring it freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring it master teacher. Bring it freedom for the master. Master teacher, 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 freedom for the master. Master teacher. Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult.
Bring home now.
there's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher, freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of
Sean, a telephone call to our ancestors who guide and protect us. And protect us. Protect us. Anuki Jawef Pa Ashok Empa Paut U Kalel Ashok Kawun Jawef Neya Anuki Kasam Empa Paut U Ka Paut Kawun Kasam Em Neya Anuki Wahu Ame Pa Paut U Pa Paut Kawun Wahu Ame Neya Nakuk kado najo ame kasam emba baut u habub ame mushkas nakuk kado kawan galal pafat nakuk arut jawef pa baut ame wase ame aradni kawun laye bakoy jawef pa baut anuki yabet biye nafashni Pa Paut Kaun Anuki, Pa Paut Kador Nakuk Kador, Pa Paut Amul Nakuk Amul. Okay, Rahuba Moisar, welcome to another question answer class for myself. Usia Kareye and my good brother.
Gore Gamun Tahuti. Good to be here tonight, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Like we always say every weekend, you could be doing so much better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could be watching on the good old footy, watching something online, anything at all that might be a distraction actually, because sometimes those are distractions. They're not necessarily productive, are they?
No, and where we focus and give our energy, that is of utmost importance. And this is a good opportunity to reinvigorate ourselves and our energies and our knowledge specifically, with an emphasis on sound right knowledge, wisdom, reasoning, and following the path of Pa Nabab Yanun.
Okay, so this we're open up. It's a quick Q&A question and answer class today. Goreg's gonna start with the questions because we have to just slowly ease him into,
I'll do my
answering
best.
questions. So he's gonna do his best, but obviously, we're all here to support. We want audience participation as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? As we grow in WU-SABAT, that's the only way you're gonna grow is if you ask your questions. Those are needed for you. You understand? And from that platform, that foundation, you can then grow within WU-SABAT. As you grow WU-SABAT, you realize the power and the force that it actually have and how it affects all of us as a race of people. So the questions are open up. The floor is open up for any questions. So please ask away. So yeah, Rahubat again, and let's get started. Right, any questions from the audience in the store or any questions online? It's your opportunity. Don't squander it.
No questions off limits.
Yeah. That's what he said, remember that, yeah.
That's because I know you're next to me.
All right, what we're gonna do, if there are no questions, I can always read something to help, the class off with some questions. I'd like to read from this updates that our master teacher gives us. Sometimes it may trigger a question. Okay. You have a question?
Zamalta?
Okay, go ahead. We'll still read this anyway. Oh, careful. Rahuba Zamalta.
I would like a scientific explanation of the way that the language transforms the interview.
Scientific.
Sure. So I want to know, for example, when you're using certain tones, or even if you're writing certain symbols, how that kind of visualizing that and hearing that, what kind of process it goes through to transform. So for example, does it travel up the spinal cord, get to the brain, and then how does it transfigure in the brain, and then where does it go after that? How's everything transmitted, etc.?
Okay.
No.
That was a lot. It says it's it's easy question, easy one, isn't it? No, I'm just kidding. Right. To give a step by step, you want to touch on it first, bro.
Okay, I'll probably give a superficial explanation. I think it's useful to understand that as a reference point, when we hear a certain sound or certain song, there is interaction happening in your nervous system that allows you to go back to a point in time. For example, a song of the 80s, or maybe 90s, looking at this at our audience.
Just give one away. He's quite comical, isn't he, this way?
But so taking us back to that particular point, so it's useful to understand how our brain makes sense of things, and that is through our senses. So we've got the 5 senses, which accounts for 1. So at the very little knowledge I know at this point, I think that has something to do with it. And with regards to the tones, it has a vibration. Each vibration affects the certain parts of the nervous system, which then has an impact or a response in what you're having. And then obviously the brain functioning happening there is more. My brother can expand upon.
How much you want us to expand? Because we could take a whole class. So yeah. No, for real. So it is a step-by-step process. So you're dealing with, as the brother Goreg explained, is a tone, right? So again, and another analogy is if you look at a piano keyboard, right? So a piano keyboard has X amount of notes. Okay, so those notes are played, and like music notes, your DNA is also made up of notes. They just call them GTCA, which is short for guanine, cytosine, etc., tyrosine, but they're actually notes. You with me? And if you actually had the instrument or the machine you could actually tap into each note and play, and you give a sound. You understand? So based on your external stimulus and your internal stimulus, you're then one, as you're writing Misbatia, the Sabaic letters, okay, it's recording that into your matrix. You see what I'm saying? But as it's recording into your matrix, this, as you asked, your nervous system, your central cerebral system, is relaying these messages. You with me? Which is tied into your DNA. Does that make sense? So your DNA is now receiving a response, an external stimuli, which is then activating your internal stimuli, which is then connecting back with your memories. Because it's like a looping effect that's taking place, a feedback loop. And that feedback loop is going into the memory of the DNA. So what's in the DNA, I've explained already, is your GTCA, your these things that make up your chromosomes, the ladders. Okay, and that ladders, once that's taken place, is stimulating a resonance frequency. And that resonance frequency is then allowing you to make a connection with sight, sound, memories, etc. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Why? Is that why sometimes when you listen to a certain song during a journey, for example, if you're listening to the same song every time you go to work, even if you listen to that song and you're walking a different route, for some reason that song it's almost like it has a memory of that route that you took. It brings you back to that place.
You know what? It's kind of like you've answered what Pana Baby Anun has been trying to say to us. It takes you back to that place. You see what I'm saying? And because unbeknownst to a lot of us, Nagaru or human beings on a planet, language is a key to unlocking the memory mechanics.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So it makes you remember, even though you may not consciously be aware, but there's a stimulus taking place. It's connecting with something. Do you know what I mean? Those memories, which is the physical part of it, which was maimed, known as the hippocampus. That's responsible for memory. So that memory is tied into your memory bank or your genetic pool, which is linked into your ancestors. So all of this speaking the language, etc., what it's doing is actually activating those cells and those memories that you're connected with, but has been suppressed over many, many thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? And that's what he's doing. So as you take that journey, as you're saying, and then somehow you remember the pathway, etc., you got neural pathways. You see what I'm saying? And those neural pathways, some of them have been deadened off or they've been shortened. So the synapses have to happen again. And when those synapses happen, what they call the neurotransmitters, those neurotransmitters are your ancestors, really. Those black dots of natural 9-ether energy are then being pulled into you and activating you. That's why when you read, it says 9-ether is a motivator and an activator. Yeah, and the more you live within wu-SABAT or 9-ether and your spiritual science, it activates you and motivates you. You see what I'm saying? To want to heal yourself, to want to heal your planet, to want to help your brothers and sisters, etc., etc. You're helping buying from your own. All of these kind of things is where you're on that frequency. You see? So yeah, it's definitely important, the language and the connection with the scientific aspect of what's taking place. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
And then also, I think, and I stand corrected, but last time we did the scroll, the
Mind linked, yeah.
mind linked, the dimensional link.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And once all of those synapses and neural pathways have been reestablished, and with thinking about exploring it, then you tap into let's call it the universal mind.
That's right.
Which then obviously also unlocks certain and different aspects of knowledge that you may need, require, want at that time.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I'm gonna read it now. other aspect to that too is as you're speaking your language, you're actually helping those who have transitioned to also make a link back. Yeah, because remember, it's all about tones, vibrations, frequencies. So those who are stuck in a particular dimension, as you speak your language and as you start to learn who you are, etc., they're also being fed that information and it strengthens them. And the language acts as a protection as well, because each cell, as it starts to resonate, gives off a field of energy. So that field of energy is then being grown and it emits outside of you. You see what I'm saying? Which you call your auric field. So that auric field now has created a barrier against forces that are coming and trying to penetrate into your being. You see what I'm saying? So that's how important the language really is for us. You see? Yeah.
And then linking on to the ancestral linkages, this afternoon I spoke with someone and we explored that people talk about, generational curses and the rest. And we, at this point of where we are, have that ability to help alleviate or mitigate what's happening in the past generations with our ancestors. There's a scientific experiment where they split a cell. They took one part of the world and on the other side. And when they manipulated on the one side, it instantaneously impacted the other half of the cell. And by that, it refers to that whatever we do to mitigate our curses, as it were, that's how it instantly impact and help our ancestors. So we have that ability by way of the way we eat or put in, cleaning ourselves inside out and outside in, making the right choices by way of understanding who we are and remembering our own voice. Because remember, in the dialogue, we have a number of ancestors engaging with us, wanting to have certain experiences. And they may want to, for example, they'll trigger you to do something and you may think it's yours, but then if you actually take a step back and think about it, then you'll realize, but that's not what I really want. And this is the best choice. And so by doing those, the more of those good choices, agreeable choices we make, the easier, and let's call it, we're helping our ancestors in that way.
Yep, exactly. Right. So just to add a bit more, because I was trying to find the Nuwaupic. So Nuwaupic, know that Nuwaupic or Misbatia or Nuwaupic, as there's another way of saying it, it's not just spoken here. It's spoken on other planets as well. You see what I'm saying? And what the master, one thing that's been explained is when you are going through your transitional period, or if you're going to be removed off the planet, there's certain things that you have to know in the language. You're supposed to be speaking it really to a degree where if they're able to communicate to you where to go, etc., you'll be able to understand it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so there's a lot going on with the language and us showing a shook towards each other. You know what I mean? And I'm sure many classes, brothers have always alluded to explaining that 90% of our problem is because we're not speaking our own language. If we all spoke our own language, there'll be a mental cohesion already. Do you see what I'm saying? When I was reading one linguistic book, it was explaining that as a person conveys words to somebody else, like in an audience, the way they're able to convey it in a calm manner, in a way that it's received by the recipient, but not just the way it's being said, but also the language that is being spoken in, that recipient is able to then also work together with the other person. But if it's in a language that's strange to you, we tend to find that there's not that cohesion. You can say there's misunderstanding. But in Miss Batia is very direct. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't it's literally like when I'm texting my brothers or sisters, whoever I'm speaking to, I always try and put Miss Batia into my the words, and then I say, oh, I can't find that. So I have to find the word that's literal. Do you get what I'm saying? I can't just say something slang or colloquial, etc. How to find a literal meaning so that it can make sense. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's very important, the language.
Yeah. Does it help?
Okay.
Yeah, antat appear afu. You're welcome. All right. What else was I gonna? I was trying to. Any questions? Because I'm gonna try and find
You
a
have a
read
hand
as
up,
well.
Theo's a man.
Oh, there's a hand up online.
Tour. Theo.
Well, wait. Okay, we'll take the sister's question, and then we'll go to Theo.
Can you elaborate when you said DNA is made up of notes?
Okay.
Can you elaborate the word notes?
Okay. When I say notes, I'm referring to musical notes. I beg your pardon. So musical notes, just like on the scale of music, you have C to C or F to F, etc. These are the 8 notes known as the octaves, okay, in music. Likewise, your DNA is also made of notes, which they refer to as the letters G, T, C, A. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the actual G is actually a note, the note G. The letter T is really a D, just I'm saying, which is another note in music. Then you have the C and then you have the A. Okay, so these are actually musical notes that are actually encoded in your DNA. So as the language is not really a form of verbal communication. Language is actually a form of tones and music. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm actually speaking in the form of music. It's just that it's a deadened form of music because we're speaking out of our own range of musical scale. We're speaking the English language, which is foreign, really foreign to our DNA, our natural nature. You see, and when something's unnatural to you, because DNA is not a static thing, it's constantly moving and morphing, it will take on what it is and it will encode it into your matrix until you start to learn something else or learn another. Like they call it a polyglot, but somebody who learns more than one language, if they learn, like for instance, French, they could master Spanish and all the other languages, you know what I mean? They're the Indo-European languages because it has a root, you see what I'm saying? Or a common ancestry or connection. Likewise with Miss Batia, if you learn Arabic and Hebrew, etc., once you start to speak Miss Batia, it comes very easy because now you're connecting the similarities in the language, etc. And because it's a remembering tool, you start to remember your past. Do you get what I'm saying? So certain things that the master will say to individuals about what we did as a race of people, that we lived like this, we did this, we flew. It doesn't sound far-fetched because not just only because you feel it within your very fiber of your being that we were able to do these things, but now science is backing it up. Science is proving now that language is this. Science is now showing you that there was one time where humans had the ability to grow limbs. And do you get what I'm saying? Because when you look at us as what we call humans, we're actually human reptiles, really and truly, because we are in a moist atmosphere or denser atmosphere called air, but it's actually water. Yeah, we're in a biosphere. That's what we're living in. And when we get too thirsty, we get dry throat. You see what I'm saying? It's like a fish. A fish needs water. When you get dry, we scaly, especially for us Nagaru. Do you know what I mean? We need to cream our skin, keep it moist. So all of these are little subtle telltale signs to show you that you existed as a water creature. And being that you're a water creature or an amphibian or a reptilian, reptilians, you can go and research some reptilians like the gecko and other things. You can cut off their tail and they grow back. Just what I'm saying, we had that same ability, but we call it keloiding, or that's what they call it. They call it keloiding. But that keloiding is actually our attempt to grow back the limb that we've lost, or to grow back the flesh. Do you get what I'm saying? This is all the signs. Yeah, go on. You're gonna. Yeah, that's right. A huge, yeah.
Then that skin will grow back.
There you go.
Will multiply again.
Right, but because the genetic formula is scrambled, it grows back like a lump.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't grow as it's supposed to. But yeah, we have all of these in us as beings. Yeah.
Questions all?
No question, just listening.
Just a moment, we just
Oh yeah, we're gonna go on to
okay, Theo.
yeah. Theo, you have your hand up. Please ask your question, Theo.
You said that we should speak Miss Bateo or Nuwaup as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be more difficult, like right now, obviously, so we can understand you have to speak English? Do you literally just try and incorporate it into your language as much as you can?
Definitely, definitely. As you make the transition as a person, as a single person to a race, into a culture, into a way of life, the journey and the transition should be you learning the way of what natural nature imposes and teaches you. Do you get what I'm saying? Because okay, natural nature is like a big, massive computer program. Yeah, they call it, we call it the Matrix now because they made a movie about it. Yeah. So this massive computer program mainframe, it reads codes, ones and zeros, but in our sense, GTCA. Yeah. The protein and all of this is reading. Nature reads us. So if we're learning a language which is conducive to nature, it also helps you and imbues you with certain abilities. It links you back into natural nature's forces. That's what this language and this information of wu-SABAT, it does for you. Because you have to realize there's natural and there's unnatural. So unnatural, it does, as you know, it does the total opposite. Do you know what I mean? It takes you off your frequency, it takes you off your mode, you know, of who you truly are, or what you're supposed to be according to natural nature. So this is what the master teacher is explaining, that once you get into the realms of natural nature, you live by the rules of natural nature, you speak the tones of natural nature, and nature will, in a sense, it will protect you and guide you when the time is right or when it's necessary.
Yeah, that makes sense. How can I if I wanted to start learning, say today or tomorrow, where should I start? Do you have like classes or anything like that?
We do. It's on Telegram. It's called second. In
And
fact, are you on wu-SABAT kayak forum platform? Because I can just post in there. I think there's even a post in there with the language classes and everything on there.
I don't think I'm in that forum now.
Okay. It's called should know by heart really, should know. Right, it's called OSM.
Is that Mark? I'm gonna post the link in the chat, yeah?
All right, tell that. Yeah, so it's OSM wu-SABAT, ask us anything. So if you go in there, you actually be able to search out our language platform, and then the link will take you there, and you can start learning the harafat, which is the letters, the numbers, the colors, everything's in there. Do you know what I mean? Learning about who person is, how to construct a sentence, the grammatical, the conjugations, it's all in there. So
Okay.
it's a real language. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that was just dreamed up the other day. It's just that it's been brought to us in this day and time in this form because we are beings that change. We weren't like this 1,000 years ago, or we were like this 6,000 years ago, or 10,000 years ago. We've morphed into who we are now. So what Partner Babianons explained, that we are new beings. When you used to say the word Nubian, you see what I'm saying? If you listen to it phonetically, we are new beings because we're being prepared and transformed into the new cycle that we're supposed to evolve into this new cycle. And those who don't evolve into this new cycle, they're going to, how can I say, not being in tune with planet Earth. And as Earth goes through its birthing process and its cleansing, it will remove those who it doesn't require anymore off the planet. So things that are taking place on the planet is natural nature at work and also extraterrestrials also at work.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. And takatira afo in our language.
And you
Okay.
said that we're higher beings then from
We've been transformed into our natural state, our true state, which is Ethereans. Really and truly, we're not even supposed to have a body. The reason why we have a body is because we're navigating in this realm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and this realm dictates that you have to have a suit, a skin suit to exist in. But in the higher dimension, you don't need a skin suit. You can actually navigate as a energy being. Right, do you want to touch on that?
No, I just wanted to say that that is part of the process. I mean, it latches onto what the Zamalpat asked earlier about the language, and it's all the preparation that's happening. My brother just mentioned that we are being prepared to get into a rightful space or place as new beings. So all of these things add to it.
Right. So was there a question, Jackie, or did you have a question? Was that your question? Because I know you had a question before, sister. You had a question before, Zamalta?
No, it was.
Or did you have a question? Okay, yeah. And then we'll go to Kobe, or is it Jackie and then Kobe? Whichever one's next.
Jackie.
Okay.
Rabat.
Rahubat.
I'm wondering
Jackie.
about the many tribes in Africa. And there are many tribes in Africa, and many of them practice their own rituals. Are they acknowledging disagreeable deities, and to be part of wu-SABAT, will they need to give up those type of practices, and turn to wu-SABAT?
I think not necessarily give it up. I think it would give them, they've got a head start because they may not be as influenced as others are with the programming that's been happening the last 6,000 years. However, I think it's useful to encourage them to take that step to move towards wu-SABAT, because as a nation, as Nagaru, as a unit, in inverted commas, as a tribe, there's more benefits to be had with all of us acting as one. And that is what the master teacher is encouraging us to do. And that's most probably what's holding us back in progressing as well and as fast as we can. And that's the reason, because we're not united, we're not operating in Ashuk, in our language, which is divine love. So in short, no, but it'd be useful to give it.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, many tribes in Africa have been visited by different, not even just Africa, just around the world. Different cultures, different tribes have been visited by different extraterrestrials. So they've also introduced their form of language, their form of rituals, their form of worship, or if you want to call it oration, etc., to these tribes. You with me? So there was an original culture and practice on this planet. This is going back millions of years, but what you have to, I guess, take on board and process is that Earth itself has had many lifetimes, okay? And there's been many cycles. So let's just go back just a couple of cycles where there was beings here that lived in the water. As I explained to the Malta, is that we live in a biosphere, but prior to the biosphere, Earth as you know it is actually a water planet. So there was many extraterrestrials who were of reptilian heritage or reptilian form that required this planet as a home. So they lived in the places now you call the Bermuda Triangle or the Atlantis. They lived in other regions where there was water, aquatic, and our ancestors who were in the Botswana, Uganda, etc. Okay, I can't pronounce the name, but there's a particular place in South Africa where we emerged from, and we spread out into different areas of also habitat. Okay, so some of us became land creatures and ate things of the land. Some of us were still aquatic and ate things of the sea. Some of us actually were, ended up in the trees and were consuming things in that environment. So we adapted and moved according to what habitation or what environment that we were found placed in. So, but originally this planet has gone through many different cycles, known as Tiamat, known as Nun, Ptah Nun, yeah, known as Tamaray. It had many different cycles and many different visitations from different extraterrestrials. And what they've done is these extraterrestrials, they've taken the essence or the core, what they call the root race, the core root race. They've taken the seed, the genetic makeup of the core root race, and what they've done is they've what's the word I'm looking for? They've interfaced, yeah, they've grafted or interfaced their own image and characteristics and essence onto this core root DNA. So this is where you go into your Bible story when it talks about, I really don't like to go there because, you know, it goes into a whole thing of, you know, the Bible when we get stuck there. But your biblical story gives you a little eye opener. It says, let us make man in our image. You see what I'm saying? And after our likeness. So they impressed on the root DNA, they added their parts, you see what I'm saying, of their nature, etc. And this is where human beings have had interstellar, extraterrestrial visitations from all different forms of life. That's why you look at a human being and you're like, man, that person looks like a fish. You know, you may think in your head, or that person looks like a, you know, he resembles something in nature. And that's not by coincidence sometimes. It's actually because it's a divine design, or it's a plot of extraterrestrials, as the master teacher wrote a book on, you know what I mean, intelligent design, divine design, or is it a plot of aliens? Because sometimes all three have had a part to play in our evolution, existence as Nagaru, as Mukasu, as Dravidians, as this, as that. You with me? And some of these extraterrestrials then became gods to these cultures that existed. So then you get into your Sumerian story, you get into your Anunnaki story, you get into your ancient Egypt and Atharu or Neteru, then you go into the Nomos, or you go into the Zulu tribe and you talk about the sky dwellers that came down. So you have different cultures then talking about these extraterrestrial beings that then became gods to them. You see what I'm saying? You got your Greek pantheon and they call it Zeus and all of this, but these are actually extraterrestrial beings, interstellar galactical beings that were just far more advanced, you see what I'm saying, in technology, in other ways, and came here and helped to grow man to become like them, really, you know, to some degree. And then some were food as well, unfortunately. Just to put that in, you know, some became food. It wasn't just all about teaching them, it was also about food as well. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Jackie.
So these were disagreeable extraterrestrials, you know?
Yeah, the ones that were consuming flesh, etc., were disagreeable. Now, when we say disagreeable, it's disagreeable to us if we're being eaten. Let's just put it that way. Because to them, that's nourishment. You see, so it depends on whose perspective you're looking at it from. You know, for an extraterrestrial who thinks that you are food, you're a piece of chicken. That's what the master always gave us, that analogy. If you're actually able to, you know, expand your mind and look at the reality that you go to, you know, we go to these supermarkets and then we buy this piece of flesh, go home and tenderize it and cook it and season it up, invite the family around, the family enjoying it. Man, you cook some wicked chicken, you know what I mean? And then you don't stop to think that, well, extraterrestrial could be doing the same thing to humans because they season us up. It's called ingredients. What do they call it? What they put in ingredients? All these different what's it? Chemicals, yeah, seasonings, but there's another natural word for it, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, when you read the package, you see all these different ingredients, but they're not natural ingredients. They're like made with monosodium glutamate, you see what I'm saying? Preservatives, yeah, yeah, all of these yeast numbers, etc. What do you think some of these numbers are? They're seasoning your DNA because they like it a certain way. They like the porky taste, or they like this particular taste. Yeah, because extraterrestrials see some humans as food. And that's the reality the master teacher is trying to get us to, that we're not just the only ones that are consuming hamburgers. You know what I mean? in this universe. There's beings that come here and eat as well. Yeah. So
You know,
I hope that was the
on a
question.
different question, you know how, Jamaica is well known to most around the world, and look at what has happened or what is happening, with the devastating hurricane that have really destroyed, much of the country. And, many people are back to square one, living with nothing. What is your take on it really? When you look at this devastation, what do you have to say as to what is happening or what is the reason why it might be happening?
Well, the master teacher explained to us there was a map they got us to actually look into. It's called the I Am America map. Let me just bring that up, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of this map. It's written, but it's a person called Lori Toy. She's a Native American, called I Am America map. So let me just bring up the map and then I'll share the screen. And this is a Native American prophecy. It's not something that wu-SABAT. Okay, so I'll just read here. It says, I'm America can refer to a 2007 book of political satire. No, that's not the one I'm after. Sorry, I didn't put map, did I? Put map, that'll help. Right, I'm America map. Okay. Got AI mode now. Jeez, these people. Right, so this is a new age author by the name of Lori Toy. Okay, I'm going to use Wikipedia. Don't really like to use it, but just to quickly get the answer across. So Lori Toy had a vision in 1983. Okay,
So
in the
Mark,
vision.
are you sharing your screen?
Tua, I'm going to share it now. I'm going to share it. I just wanted to bring it up and then I'll share it.
Okay.
Tell it up, yeah. Right. Just let me know if that can be seen.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it now. Thank you.
Oh, wait. So Lori Toy, as I say, perverted vision, but you can't take somebody what they've experienced and say it's perverted. I mean, it's like they're trying to, so-called, but it's something she had a vision, and so she claims, according to this, that she had her first vision in 83. In the vision, ascended masters named Saint Germain, Sananda, El Moya, and Kuthumi prophesied change to the Earth's land masses by unrolling a large map of North America that showed details of these changes. Okay, so in these changes, you see certain parts of the planet submerged underwater. And also, when we're going through the School of Moors, a Native American, I think it was a Shoshone woman that the master teacher also said came and explained about the different prophecies. In the Native American prophecies, you have something called the white eagle, the black eagle, and the red eagle. Okay, and these eagles are significant of different cultures or races that will take over or rule for a certain period. So in the Native American prophecies, they also talk about how when the star people come back to this planet and what the changes are going to be on this planet. Also, we know that in wu-SABAT, we go through a 24,000-year cycle, where it's a 6,000-year cycle and a 6,000-year cycle, sun and moon. Okay. In essence, is that the planet is going through a change, a transformation. So certain parts, certain parts of the planet will go underwater. And it's unfortunate that it's in that area, parts of the Caribbean is gonna actually literally be there no more. It would cease to exist, and there'll be new land that will rise up in its place. Okay, so that's what's taking place in that area. But the actual map shows you, if I can bring up the image. Hope people are looking for it themselves. Okay, so this is see if that comes up. Everything you have to accept. Okay, that's a small map. Let's go back to trying to find a large map.
Jamal, are you sharing?
Yeah, Tua, it's just loading up. It's just taking a little bit longer than I wanted.
Hit the share again, please.
Huawei. Right. Can you see? Can that be seen?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see? Has it got a bit more? So you can see there, yeah. Okay, so as you can see, the Americas or Caribbean. Gosh. Yeah, see how the land masses are really changed, graphically changed. Okay. So this is, like I said, a depiction of what's gonna start taking place on the planet, where some land masses are just gonna be engulfed in water. And what really and truly is gonna start happening is something that, it talks about in your biblical stories, again, going back to the deluge and the floods. There've been many floods, many instances, but as you can see, one of the main places also, there's also certain safe places, and it shows you Wahani. So that is where in Georgia, Millerville, Georgia, we set up Tamaray. Okay, it was known as the Golden City of the West. So that would have been one of the safe places that was being, if that can be seen, yeah, Wahani. Yeah, that was smack bang, okay, in where we were. So zoom in a bit more. Okay, you see Georgia there, South Carolina. That would want to be the safe places that we would have been protected had we kept up Tamaray there. And you can see another Golden City place. Okay, so there is prophecies. Oh, it still can't be seen. Oh, sorry.
No, they can see it.
Oh, it can be seen, right? Okay. Can it be seen still? Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, wait. Yeah. So this is something you can look up for yourself. You can see Cuba, Puerto Rico, West Indies. It literally has disappeared. Sorry. Yeah. So let me show. I beg your pardon. I didn't show you. You guys did that. So can you see that? Yeah. So if you see Cuba, Puerto Rico, West Indies. Wow, make it bigger. Yeah. So, Lord, enlarge it more. What's wrong? You need glasses? I don't think it can go anymore. No, it's just moving now. Yeah. Hang on, let's see if I can. No, that's the largest it can go. But yeah, it's just a way of it's an illustration, okay, and a prophecy was going to start taking place on the planet. This is just because the question of Jamaica was asked. It's just that it is one of the places, and that's just going to go underwater. So all of these are things that are taking place on the planet. As I said, the planet is doing a cleansing. So it's not just here, it's other parts as well, as you can see, the whole big gulf of South America. You got parts of Africa. Yeah, it's just gonna start happening. So there are safe places that people can it shows you in here that are called golden cities. Okay. So that's just illustration, not to take away from that. We are being warned and we're being prepared, because really and truly we shouldn't even be here. We should actually be making a transformation to lead the planet. That is what the ascension process is about. That is being able to transform, so that when these catastrophes do take place with the meteorites and all of these other things, we can transform and leave this planet. That's a whole goal, really.
So does it have much to do with the plan for 2030 regarding, many are saying that they're going to build this smart city, there and so forth?
You see that's the really and truly 2030. It does impact us to a degree. However, it's really for the Mukasu. It's their world that's actually, is going away. Their world is demising, it's going slowly, but we're going to be trapped in it or caught up in it, because that we still can't seem to let go of his culture. We can't let go of his way of life and how we need him. We seem to need him, should I say, in everything that we do. But if we were realizing our power, every leader has said it. And another leader and Warner and Guide has come and saying the same thing. It's our unity. It's our unity. And our unity, it will allow us to build things and protections and all of these kind of stuff that we were able to survive into the next cycle and beyond. But if we don't do it, then we're also going to catch the same kind of hell that's going to befall this planet. Okay, so the meteorites will be, has been and will be. It's not the first time meteorites have been sent by extraterrestrials or the elders to the planet to restart again. This is not the first time. It's happened millions of years before, and that's the last time was the Ice Age. And again, the next cycle, the epoch, is this new millennia that we're coming into, where you're going to see a lot of changes. So for some of us, it's unfortunate, and for some of us, it's fortunate because we can see the changes. We can see what we have to do to prepare. But those who don't know, there's going to be a sense of fright, except, all these different questions and understanding, mental instability, all of that's taking place because we're shifting into not just a cycle of changes, but also a mental cycle as well. You with me? Earth itself is going through a dimensional shift. And that dimensional shift means that we also have to transform and change our frequency. And that goes back to the question about the language. The language transforms your frequency, and it makes you from a more of a denser being to a higher frequency, lighter being, so that you can transform into an Etherean. So this is what we are, mini Ethereans, but we're still in our skin suit. And the whole job is to transform out of our skin suit to traverse and leave this realm. So yeah, it's a lot to do. I'm not saying it can't be done. Okay. Antaka Thiravozamata. Yes. Oh, sister. You want to take it?
Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone a couple of days ago, and he was asking, why does the hurricane and all this storming tend to hit Jamaica the most and the hardest? And is it because of where the island is placed in the hemisphere, etc.? And some people are saying that there's some beings up there that actually tamper with the weather, and
it's
create this storm.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
Yeah, and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, I think it may feed into that equation, and I think from what my brother Hussein mentioned earlier about the Bermuda Triangle, alludes to the location of Jamaica. So it is understood that there are still large amounts of energy that's being emitted from that area, and it's alleged that there are those who manipulate the weather to impact on those areas with different what do you call them? Different weather formats.
Yeah, weather machines.
Weather machines.
Yeah, weather machines. Yeah.
So there is that. So on the one aspect, you've got what's been talked about now. This new map, how the Earth is changing, and then also you're looking at let's call them the elite, their influences, and then obviously the overall plan or progression or change of Mother Earth and how she cleanses and changes. But yeah, if my brother Hussein want to add?
No. Yeah. So like Gorek said, it's extraterrestrials, natural nature, and human children of disagreeable extraterrestrials. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they have certain if you had the opportunity to read Man from Planet Risk, there was an experiment that they did called the Philadelphia experiment. But that particular core of that experiment branched out into other experiments that they were also doing. So one of them became known as the HAARP project. Okay, so it's spelled HAARP, HAARP. And there's an actual book called Angels Don't Play This Harp. You can look it up as well and you can read it. So what they're using is frequencies and manipulating the weather, and they can manipulate the weather, etc., to create so again, HAARP project. Okay, so they always put conspiracy. All the time, it's always about conspiracy, but they never will tell you that this came from this until you do your research. But sorry, I shared the screen on it. Share screen. Right. So can that be seen? Right. So the HARP project stands for High Frequency Active Oral Research Program. It's a scientific research facility in Alaska that studies the ionosphere, the upper layer of Earth's atmosphere, originally a joint US Air Force and Navy project. So if you have done research, you know that the Navy were the ones responsible for the Philadelphia experiment. Okay, in 1940 or 1938, something like that. Rather bad. And they started with trying to find the invisibility and teleportation during the World War, so they could invade into enemy territory and do their devastation. So these two forces, your Air Force and Navy program, has fed into your HARP project. So it's now operated by the University of Alaska Fairbanks, using powerful radio transmitter to study how radio waves interact with the ionosphere. So the ionosphere is an actual place where if you're able to move ions around or manipulate the ions, it can create weather changes. Do you see what I'm saying? So they know all of this science. It's not something that's, if you just do your research, you begin to realize how much they're actually involved in affecting the weather patterns on the planet. And like I said, there's also extraterrestrials. If time gets to a certain point where they have to eliminate, remove, etc., they'll also send in their weather machines. In the book called Shambhala Nagata, I think you can get it upstairs. It talks about there's a machine in the center of the earth called the mech. If I'm right, is it the mech? Yeah, and this mech, they also extraterrestrials within the caverns use the mech to alter weather or change certain things out on the planet as well. So there's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of manipulation of the Earth's environment and atmosphere. And then there's terraformation taking place with asteroids. Because you see all these, you're hearing about Oumuamua, or the name for that, I can't pronounce that name. Then you got 3I Atlas, and you got the other one, Osiris Atlas. These are meteorites, but on these meteorites, there's spores. And what these spores are DNA, which are sent to this planet to also change and terraform the planet. So part of the global warming is also because the Earth is shifting and being terraformed for the new cycle, because they're restocking the planet with new life. So there's a lot going on. And this is why there's such a constant effort to keep people distracted. Do you see what I'm saying? Because when you're distracted, you don't know about these things. You're not preparing yourself, do you know what I mean, for the eventualities. And then it hits us, and then we're back with COVID, and then we can't move nowhere. And then that's when it gives them an opportunity to set up their infrastructure. Do you get what I'm saying? You can't drive here. There's 15-minute cities. Now roads are closed off. You can't drive down this road. You can't do, yeah? Your cars now, you might as well just walk. You can't, but you can drive your car to the end of the road, and that's as far as you can get now. So yeah, it's all part of that. It's all part of that.
Controlling the mind as well.
That's mind control. That's right. That's called the Montauk project. So there's a different project that's branched off from that. And you ever watched the movie Denzel Washington and Manchurian Candidate? Yeah, you seen that one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know, the majority of the times when I come here, I have a channel called Blaze.
Okay.
Right. And I watch that quite often, and all of what we're speaking about tonight, I've watched it on the Blaze, and that often happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about this same thing, the HAARP,
Okay.
and they mentioned about the Manchurian Candidate.
Okay.
So I've watched the Manchurian Candidate movie
Mm-hmm.
so many times,
right.
so I understand,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
we need to sort of, it's just confirmation.
No, that's right. That's literally
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, it's part both. Yeah. So yeah.
I think the interesting thing is, and this has come to my mind too at times, given all that is happening at this point in time, I think it's easy to get confused. It's easy to get caught up. However, if we stick to the basics, as to the teachings of Padma Bianun, then it comes down to staying focused. It comes down to cleansing yourself. It comes down to knowing your power. And given what we're talking about tonight specifically, it's understanding the end goal, which includes the ability to transform and then being the true Ethereans that we are. So I've been overwhelmed too at times, and well, I still get overwhelmed a lot. But it's useful to just bear in mind, you know, what's the objective.
All right. We'll move to Kobe. I think you had your hands up for quite a while. So you have a question?
I think we lost Patar.
Yeah, we have to go back to Patar.
No, Patar's gone.
Oh, he's gone, yeah, okay. Rahubat Kobe, you have a question?
Robot myself.
Rahubat Jamal.
So yes, going back to there's 2 points that I kind of wanted to merge together. So the sister at the beginning was talking about changes that can happen in your nervous system, and then you started talking about food. So I was thinking, in terms of eating meat, how, because I've been doing my research on protein more and more where I'm back in the gym and I'm trying to, you know, change people's diets in a particular way. And obviously protein is the big subject, but where I've been doing my research, I've been seeing that protein actually has a lot to do with what happens in your nervous system, and especially when it comes to synapses and that sort of thing. So when you're eating meat, I just wanted to see if there's any information that may be scientific that kind of explains what happens to your nervous system when you're over consuming meat.
I haven't gone into the specifics of that, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's more how it affects the blood. Anything touching on regarding meat?
That's fine. Even with blood, that's
No. Apart from obviously the aspects of how it affects the DNA and the characteristics, which kind of latches on to what we spoke about it earlier in the evening, about how we've got our ancestors impacting upon us. So when we take on the different DNA, that also has an impact. And one acknowledges that although it may not become overpowering, but it still adds to the equation.
That's right.
Which means that it can't be disregarded. So then that's where.
No. Yeah, that's really that's on point, because it triggered something I was gonna to mention, is when you read the Mind Scroll, it gives you the quintuplated ethers. So one of them is that when you're consuming a byproduct, okay, of an animal, is that you're consuming its spirit essence. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in the sense that you're consuming its spirit essence, because remember, the life is in the blood. Yeah, and your link is to spirit. So your matrix, just like if you look at protein, it has always known as a key and lock method.
Yeah.
You know, it has different shapes, but it will lock as a key. Do you get what I'm saying? Whichever one it binds to, there's a particular specific lock and key that it does. So it's essentially the same thing with your energy matrix. It binds to your energy matrix, that spirit of that animal. And like Gorego's explaining, it may not be a powerful impact, but there's a subtle impact. And that's what the quintuplated ethers is talking about in the Mind Scroll, is that when you eat foods, some of it are physical matter, and some of it are subtle energy matter. Do you get what I'm saying? Which gets translated into your matrix and becomes a part of you, and in an underlining way affects your mental process.
Mm.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying? So, however, the caveat is that we're so mixed in that some of us need meat.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we have to learn to find a substitute or find a way to control that animal aspect of us.
Mm.
Because there is an animal aspect of us.
But when you say that there are people who need it, is it more of an animal nature within them because that's what has been
Yeah, because
put into them in that respect?
yeah, because the DNA now has been, remember, we're talking 400 years or more. And 400 years or more is not something you do overnight. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's programmed into the DNA. So once you start to understand that your DNA is linked to the morphic genetic field, and the morphic genetic field is changes according to your thoughts and your intentions and how focused you are when you're doing it and the concentration of wanting that change to take place, it will then act on your behalf.
Mm.
So yes, even though you are a meat eater, if you are able to put the thought with the intention of changing, just what I'm saying, and transforming, that will start to take place in the morphic field. And then also the 4 generations of who you are, it gets uploaded so that they can also benefit from it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah, because most of us, I think, when we learning wu-sabat, me included, is that we think it's just a personal journey, which it is to one aspect, but part of that journey is also that you're actually helping your relatives in the future then, and in the past then.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? You're actually helping them get stronger, and you're also birthing what's going to happen in the future for your, your progeny. So when you start to think of it on that scale, you realize how important it is for us to be united, because at the end of the spectrum is our children and our children's children who are going to be born into a world, whether they're going to be subjugated to another form of slavery, another form of mental entrapment, another form of this, another form of that, or what do you want? Do you want the opposite, for them to live in a world where they're free to think and be liberated?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's the choice we have.
100%. Taiwo Tatsuma, I've got one more question regarding the Enneads and like I keep coming back to this with you with Asar and Aset and
Wait.
everything related to that. So am I right to say, am I right to say that the Enneads and Osar, Oset, Satuk, were they Pataites, or did the Pataites come from them?
Okay, so you'd have the Pataites who evolved on land, and the Enneads would have been between that period, and the Ogdoads would have given birth. So in a sense, yes, you would say that there were Pataites involved in that, because they were your evolutionary Etherians on this planet, because that's what they meant. They manifested into into bodies
Bodies,
of
yeah.
the Pataites. Do you see what I'm saying? So for instance, when you talk about, like, example, Bess, yeah, Bess would have been what is depicted as a so-called dwarf. Do you see
Okay.
what I'm saying? But really and truly, you were referring to the Pataites, who, in the eyes of the nine-foot beings that saw them, they would have been dwarfs. They would have been short,
Of course, yeah.
etc. But in the height of their own race, they were normal. They were average. Do you get what I'm saying? So yes, the 4'5", the females, and the 5'4" males would have been the incarnations of these Enyads. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tautazama.
Antakatira. Any other question, Theo? If you have a question, there's
Because on
and yeah, he's back. Okay, cool. Oh, Batar's here now, all right. So right, Theo, ask your question. You have your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back when you mentioned earlier about the Bermuda Triangle. I'd no idea like what it actually is. I've heard it's something to do with like some sort of portal or something like that. Like what actually is it? Because there's another place where planes also go missing quite a lot as well. What are those places?
Good question.
Yeah, I think there are 3 triangles, if I'm right, of which Bermuda is one. Is there one called Red Triangle?
2, the devils and the angel.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. So yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, Theo, there's sorry, let me just put this drink of tea. We have to go back to a particular time period. As we've mentioned before, the beings that resided here were aquatic. So they built an empire, and that empire had a source of energy that they tapped into, which allowed them to have interstellar travel. Okay, so that interstellar travel was like you said, a portal and a gateway to other dimensions, to other worlds. And this was found in at one time called the Bermuda Triangle in that area, because the land masses were at one time together. So Earth was not, remember, Earth as we know it now has many different separations. So you have this gulf of water called the Atlantic Ocean. You got the, Pacific Ocean. You got all these different oceans, but really and truly, when you strip all that apart, they're actually just one ocean, yeah, or one body mass of water. Okay, and that Angel's Triangle, which is referred to as another name for the Bermuda Triangle, was a source of energy that extraterrestrials were using to power their crafts, and also use it to also open up portals to go to other interstellar traveling. So that's what initially was used for. And what happened was, it came a time where it got destroyed, or portions of it got destroyed, and then it submerged underwater. This is where you hear your story of Atlantis, and that there was, very high intellectual beings that were on Atlantis. And Atlantis had a body of different extraterrestrials visiting. So you had Pleiadians, you had Anunnaki, you had the Tharu, you had all, reptilian generations of different beings were coming there to do experiments, teach, etc. But it came to a point where there was disagreements, and those disagreements create what is referred to now as an atomic explosion. And that atomic explosion sank that landmass. Okay, so when you hear about the name Atlantis, that's a Greek form of saying the word Atlan. Okay, when you do research about the Greeks, they added a lot of is or us to the ending of the words. Like you have Atlantis, and you have what else is there? There's other
Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus. Yeah, you have different us or is, Isis, Horus. You see what I'm saying? These are all Greek terminologies, but in essence, that Atlan was because it referred to the upper and lower regions of South America and North America, which was known as Atlan because of the ancient language that was being spoken, which had something called the nun, A-A-N at the end of it. When you have the A-A-N of a word, it denotes it as a duality. So it's referring to the upper and lower sections of North America and South America. That's where you get the word Atlan. Now, this was actually a name that was used by the Nubans, who migrated from the West Coast, lower part of South Africa, and crossed over into America. And these Nubans set up that area, which became a vacation spot. So when you're saying the word Atlan, it's from the root word utla. And the word utla means to vacate or to move to one place. Okay, so that's what they did, because at one time they could walk across. There was no big feet to walk across and travel or migrate until the continental drift happened. Okay, and this was where these different empires were set up. So Atlantis became the power source for both. So the Bermuda, or that energy source, became a power source for Atlantis or North America and South America. But the root word of it is utla, which means to vacate or to travel across. And you can find this all broken down in the book called Let's Set the Record Straight by Dr. Malachi Z. York. Okay. If you're able to get your hands on that or have a read of it, then you get more information. There's also a Patarak called Atlantis, which goes into a bit more detail of even like the creatures that were residing, like they explain like butterflies that had huge wingspans, spiders that were massive, creatures, etc. So it was a lush place. It did exist, but the history of it got misconstrued when Plato got his hands on it, because Plato wrote about Atlantis. Okay, does that make sense?
So what happens to like ships and stuff that end up going into these places? Does it just get pulled into different dimensions or something?
Exactly. So you have stories where people in crafts, ships get pulled in, because what happened was the extraterrestrials that are responsible for the building of it or the using of it, they still go back and forth. So sometimes when it's activated, and unfortunately some crafts or ships are in that region when it gets activated and they get pulled in. That's what happens.
Okay.
Okay, but like I say, you can find out more information in a book called Patarak, Atlantis, and also in Let's Set the Record Straight, which goes into quite a few bit of detail.
Okay. Is it Tao Tat as well to say like, thank you?
Yeah, Tawutak,
Tao
K at the end for male, and Tawutat for female, and that would denote which gender you're referring to. Yeah.
Okay. Tao Tak.
Antak Atir Afor.
Hold on.
You are welcome.
Just wanted to check if Pata is still around, if he wants to
Ask your question, yeah.
ask a question. Otherwise, we'll go into the chat, and I've seen we've got a couple of questions there.
Any question? Yeah, all right.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about keyloads before. If you are keyloading without actually being injured first, does that mean it's an internal problem?
Sometimes it's the body's way of trying to eject something that might be potentially harmful to the body. That's in a lesser example is when you get spots. Your body, you know what I'm saying? Your body's just trying to eliminate whatever is there, and it builds up and you get a spot. And then the bacteria builds up in there and then you get a pus. You know what I'm saying? Which is just dead blood, white blood cells. So yeah, your body goes through that stage where if there's something traumatic, you see what I'm saying, or that there is something taking place in your body, it will try to remove it from your body. And that's where you might get that, yeah.
Right, just looking at the chat, we've got one from Theo. Is it only 9 ether beings that will be taken off planet for the journey? No. And I think there's part of it where obviously the part of the essence is you need to be able to attain that 9 ether essence. And then we've also got where there's a mixture of different do we call them races?
Yeah, different races.
Different races.
Yeah. Different species, if you want to call it that. You got different species or different races. You also have really and truly from 7 to 9 ether is the stage where you can raise yourself. And the beings that have gone up to the 5 ether and be below, they will not be able to raise their potency because they've lost their soul. Part of the raising of your frequency is your soul. Do you see what I'm saying? And depending on your genealogical and spiritual connection of who you have, you can raise yourself to be, to that 9 ether level. But 7, 8, 9 ether beings have soul. Okay, so they're able to raise themselves and be able to migrate or transmigrate or transmute and transform into other realms or into other dimensions. So that's what takes place. Okay, so it's not that you have to be if you're referring to as 9 ether beings as a Nagaru, we potentially have that ability because we can awaken that soul. But if you're talking about any one less than a 7 ether being, apart from the female of other races, because they have the mitochondrial DNA, which allows them to actually transform themselves, just what I'm saying, to become 9 ether. You have a question further on that build, Theo?
Yeah, I've asked before. But is there any practical way I could figure out what ether I am? I know you mentioned it's to do with what you do and how you act and that kind of thing.
It's not necessarily what you do and how you act. It's what your genetic connection is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So who are you etherically linked to? Do you get what I'm saying? So if I'm taking it that you are of Caucasian heritage or background,
Yeah.
your etheric potency may lie in the fact that you have ancestors that go back to the Nagaru gene or the Dravidian gene or to what's the other one?
Yeah, on my mum's side, my granddad was Jamaican
okay.
and my
So
mum's half Jamaican as well, and she's obviously, half
right.
black.
So you have the Nagaru gene in you. Anyone who has any Nagaru in them has the potential to raise their ethers.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So you're linked in by ether. The physical aspect is that you also have the ether manifestation of the physical. So anybody who has 7 ether, they also manifest in a particular, physiology. So your physiology for 7 ether being will be wavy hair, you see what I'm saying? Dark eyes, maybe complexion, maybe dark to light skinned to dark skin. You with me? And other features. Then you also have Nagaru of 8 ether who may look like your Dravidians, who are like your what they refer to as the Aborigines. Okay. And then you have the Hindus who are also of that same connection or same root race. Then you also have the Nagaru who have a certain amount in their root race, which is like 9 species. So you have different species. You have 8 species, 9 species, 7 species. So if you're of that genetic pool, then you have the potential to raise your ethers. And like you said, the physical practice of that and the mental practice of that is you embracing what you feel is right for you. Do you see what I'm saying? When you feel it's right for you and you're practicing it and it makes you vibrate and know that I feel alive. Because remember, 9 ether is alive. You with me?
Yeah.
And it makes you alive and work and want to do better for humanity, then you are on that frequency. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all to do with the genetic pool and the what should we call it? What's the word I'm looking for? In the DNA, there is indicators in the DNA to see what genetic lineage you're from. Extraterrestrials are using this. I've forgotten the term that is used. What's it called? When they look in your DNA and you can find certain markers, genetic markers. There you go. News. Yeah. So you got genetic markers in your DNA. Okay. And these genetic markers will also allude to who you are. So extraterrestrials are looking for these genetic markers. And one of the ways that they're doing it, as maybe you've been in other classes, is that they're using these DNA companies called Ancestry.com and what's the other ones they got out there now? Because that's the only one I know, Ancestry.com. Yeah, but extraterrestrials are actually using that to identify certain races on the planet or species on the planet. And those who are of Mukasu, those who are Dravidian, those who are Nagaru, and in them they will then they'll basically say, okay, so this person's that we can't touch them. You see what I'm saying? This person's a hybrid of this and that. We can eliminate those. Because really and truly, the elimination process is because the Mukasu has done so much damage and destruction and produced their hybrid children who are also in the same breath doing the same kind of destruction and not adhering to natural nature's rules. So even their own overlords have said, you just can't be reformed. You get what I'm saying? You need to be removed. So by way of nature's own plan and Natharu's plans, they will be removed eventually off the planet. And those who are working in alignment with natural nature, nine ether forces, will be protected. That's how nature works. It's just how nature works. You just have to just kind of like learn to receive and embrace that reality, you know?
As well as ancestry.com as well, they just your standard blood test. People go for standard blood tests. They take quite a lot of blood.
They take away a lot of blood, yeah?
Hmm?
Did you say they take away a lot of blood?
Yeah, they take a lot of blood. They
Oh,
only need a
really?
drop, but they take quite a lot.
Exactly. Because you can find, I mean, if you're talking about a bit of skin cells from the cheek to find out who you are and why do you need so much blood? But we know that they can clone. We know that they're using just saying other methods for blood banks. There's other things, reason why they're taking so much blood.
Yeah. Tahotak.
Is it best not to?
Yeah, go on.
What we always say is you got to use your own discretion and sound right reasoning. You see what I'm saying? Ultimately, it's not the best practice because as we've stated, and you know, it's about them identifying who you are and your markers because they can utilize you or eliminate you. You see what I'm saying? By way of those things. Well, you know what I mean? People do it. People do it. Yeah.
Right.
And we can't say to you, don't do it. You get what I'm saying? That's not our wu-SABAT way. That's not our cultural way. We don't say don't do it. We're giving you the platform. We're giving you the facts. You have to use your sound right reasoning.
Right. We've got a question here from Sky or Sky Phone. Is repelling north or south poles the best way to leave the planet?
Sorry,
Yeah.
is repelling north or south poles the best way to leave the planets? Sorry, Skyphone. That information, is that something you've read or reasoned out? Is it in any of our books? That Partner Babylon has written, or is this something you're just reasoning out? If you could stick to the mic, or are you shy? If you're shy, post it in the chat, we'll read it. Right, and this is the next question from you, Skyphone. Skyphone says, and is the Earth a 5D planet over 3D because of caves? I wouldn't know that either. I wouldn't know, yeah.
He's responding to
Planet magnet. Planet magnet? I mean, I'm gonna struggle with that question. I mean, there are North and South poles. There's also known as oscillations that takes place in what's called the nutation of the planet. But yeah, I'm trying to understand your question. So if you could probably elaborate a bit more or ask on the mic or something, come on the mic and ask your question. Kobe? Yeah, Kobe, is anyone on?
no.
All right. So you were just talking about Dravidians, and I was watching a interview with Robin Walker. I'm not sure if you're aware of who he is, but he basically was talking about how the world, we had the black belt in the middle of the world at one point, and how we came out of Africa and moved across. So he spoke about a proto-Dravidian, and I think he showed a picture, and it was a Nagaru, but they had like curly hair. And I know the master teacher has spoken about before the world was the way it is now. There were these let's say beings that were on the planet who were dark skinned, and they had curly hair, and they were in places like Africa and all these kind of things. How did they become Dravidians? Like how did that transition take place? Like how did we go from pure Nagaru with the coiled hair to the curly haired Dravidians? Was that a a graftation, or was it environment purposes? It's just something that's been in my mind for a while.
Sure. So remember, we talk about 9 ether, 6 ether, and 3 ether, right?
Sure.
And we've broken down the different manifestations of those ethers in its physical form. So as the masters always explain, 9 ether in its manifestation, its physical manifestation of 9 ether is a Nagaru with dark skin, woolly hair. That's our unique trait. That's what identifies us as Nagaru, is that unique trait of the hair.
Okay.
All right, on our heads. Because initially we didn't have body hair. We just had hair on our heads originally. Even then, prior to them, we were actually hairless. Okay. And then he explained that from 9 ether, the death of 9 ether is 6 ether. Yeah. And 6 ether, the physical manifestation of 6 ether is dark skin, straight hair. With full lips, etc., but dark skin and straight hair. So the identifying feature was the straight hair. Okay? And leaning from blue, black, green, black to dark skin, which we are now, you see what I'm saying, to a lighter shade. So that was the transitional process that was taking place. This was a process that then leads into what 6 ether then comes into when 6 ether dies. 6 ether, when it dies, it becomes ghost. And that's a ghostational process that takes place. So the manifestation and the physical resemblance of ghost in its physical form is what's it called? Straight hair, silver hair, and gray eyes. You with me? Those were the original Caucasian race, had gray hair and silver eyes, iris. So each manifestation also had a link with galactical beings. Okay? So our birthday record on this planet is 4 billion years. Our birthday record universal is 76 trillion years. You follow? Yeah, as gaseous beings, as Ethereans. Now, when the death of 6 ether happened, it was 17,250,000 years ago. That's when 9 ether started to die. Okay, or get weaker, the potency. And then every time something dies or makes a transformation in its formula, it always has to have a physical representation of itself. That's just the natural rules of nature. See? So when 17,250,000 years that started to take place, 6 ether were being born. So we were giving birth to weaker stage of ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Also, beings that were also of that 6 ether forces, known as the Dravidians, okay, from their planets, were also visiting this planet, because now 6 ether was being birthed in the universe. You follow? Yeah. It's not just on this planet. It's a universal birth that was taking place in various pockets. So these became known as your Dravidians who came here and then also mixed in with the Nagarus who were going through their evolutionary process at that time. Yeah. And you can, when you read the Holy Tablets, if you get hold of the Holy Tablets, the most latest one, yeah, you find the writings of the Hindus and when they came from their planet and they landed on Luna, the moon, and they went to Mars and they went to other various places before settling here on the planet Earth. And in that, they mixed in with the Nagaru. So the product of, for instance, Adam, Zakar, when you read about the Adamite story, was that he was a Watusi.
My doom's alarm. Apparently, Clubhouse can't hear you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to leave and go back in. Yeah, we were trying for some reason. Let's see, it's done it again. This Clubhouse has done it again. It's somehow thrown us out of the room and closed the thing. It must be just this my link. Yeah. Can you create another thing on Clubhouse? Yeah, we're gonna try and create another class because it's literally done it again. Yeah. Right. Sorry, for the breakup in the explanation. So yeah, Kobe, I hope that makes sense. That the different physical representations.
Yes. For now, let me ponder on that. Let me ponder on that. Table tax, Zoma.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything specific? Because don't want you just to
Nothing. No, it wasn't anything specific. It's just trying to gain that overstanding. But I kind of see I kind of see it because it's kind of like when you say when Canaan was born, obviously he was born with the orb. Am I getting that right?
Canaan.
Yeah, am I saying that right?
Which one? The birth of who gave birth to the 11 tribes, or you're talking about Canaan as in the son of Zakar and the Kibu? Because it's just the pronunciation of them, but they're basically the same.
Okay. I'm thinking about when Noah,
Okay.
the Noah lineage, basically.
Right. So you're talking about Canaan when he received the albino
Yeah.
genetic defect.
Is that similar in a sense of what the ether's working, basically?
Yeah. It's similar because you're dealing with ethers. Yeah. So it's the ghostational ether is what have you read the Patarak called the Ghost?
I haven't, no. I haven't
Okay. So there's a Patarak called the Ghost, and there's also a Patarak called Good and Evil. No, not Good and Evil. White is good, but black is evil. One of the two, something like that.
Yeah. I think I've seen that before, but I haven't read it.
Yeah. So in there is explaining about the different orbs. And remember we were talking about the orbs and how they're attracted to the LED lights and stuff?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So at the 6th stage of pregnancy in a Mukasu female, these orbs are attracted to her energy and they infuse themselves into the child. Do you see what I'm saying? And then what the master explained, it ghosticizes the child. So it infuses itself into this central nervous system because ultimately the central nervous system is what you get affected by when you get things like vitiligo and skin diseases and other things that causes, skin eruptions. It's the central nervous system. So the central nervous system, when it's agitated or when it's disturbed and it's not in its right equilibrium or, doing things naturally, so these orbs, they can enter into a pregnant female, a Mukasu female, and they can ghosticize the child. And when the child is ghosticized, it affects their genetic ability to process, to process and synthesize melanin.
Okay, yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the sense of the Dravidians, they still had the ability to process and synthesize melanin. But when you go to, and if you study melanin, you go, neuromelanin, you've got other different forms of melanin
Yeah.
that manifests from these different species or different races. So your Mukasu, by way of Canaan, when he was ghosticized, the melanin wasn't working effectively. And from when you study about melanin and it's not working properly along with the mitochondrial DNA, is that there's a lot of diseases that manifest from that because of the fact that the mitochondrial DNA is affected. And when that gene is scrambled, it can give a lot of birth defects to children. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of biological and physiological things happening when a female is carrying a child.
100%.
In the sense of Canaan's predicament is that his father also had the Pleiadian gene in him by way of his mother. You see, so the elders already knew and were watching these things pan out, but they don't interfere. They have to let things play out. You see, that's the thing about the elders. It was when I'm talking about the elders, I'm talking about the Natharu or the Ethereans. They've already seen this in play. Remember, they already see what's taking place, but they can't interfere. They have to let things play its course. So as Canaan was born, when Canaan became born, he was born an albino due to those defects. And he then took his wife to the Caucasus Mountains and he met up with other beings there, i.e., the ones that were created by your Pleiadians, the Pleiadian children, who would have been known as the Nordics. You see, or another name for them would have been your Cro-Magnon. So these Cro-Magnon, you had you had your Nordics, created by the Pleiadians, who were their children. Then you had the Cro-Magnon, or should I say the Flugorods, who was also another ghost process that was taking place by way of Yakub. Yeah, and these beings were residing. I don't know whose mic that is or interference, but if they could mute their mic, the Tautak. They also met in the mountains or lived within the caves of the mountains, and they mixed in with the tribes of Canaan. You see, or should I say, mixed with Canaan, took wives from them, should I say, or just to keep the peace, as it were. And from that process, gave birth to 11 children from different partners. Okay, and from those partners is where you have the 11 tribes of Canaan, who had the genetic link to the Pleiadians, and also they were on a lower vibrational frequency, which allowed the extraterrestrials known as the 200 Fallen, the Nephilim, who were in a gaseous state. They were in an energy vibrational state, who were vibrating on a level that they could incarnate into the 11 tribes of Canaan. They took over their bodies. You see what I'm saying? And these are the ones that have been causing the havoc on the planet, which became your Adamite race, because then the Adamites, then by way of Jacob and Esau, they mixed in with the 11 tribes of Canaan. That's why when you read your Bible story, Abraham kept saying, and Isaac kept saying, do not take the children or the wife from a Canaanite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they knew that the science was that they were diseased, they were corruptible, they were, do you know what I mean? They were just destructive. And they wanted to keep the lineage pure because he had made a covenant. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously they mixed in and all of them got taken over by the 11 tribes. And the 11 tribes are the ones ruling the world now, known as the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Jebusites, who we know as the Jews of today. Those are your tribes of Jebus. You see what I'm saying? Who came from the mountains. And then that's your biblical rendition. Then you go into your anthropology, you find the Vikings. These are your 6 kings. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Who gave birth to the 6 tribes, the Celtics. You see, so it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. This is all your link. But what the master teacher's been able to do is show us the biblical, the historical, and then use those to show and marry and show you these. You were talking about the same people, but what they've managed to do is think that, oh, the 11 tribes of Canaan are different to the historical tribes of the Vikings.
Hurricanes,
So
yeah.
you're thinking they're 2 different people altogether, but actually the same. You're talking about the same race.
Mm.
You see, so that's what they've managed to do, and keep it covered. That's what they don't like our master teacher, because he's revealed everything. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know.
Okay.
So I hope that is a bit more clearer. Yes, we have a question, Eddie.
Sorry, who did the Yaku create?
Okay.
Which
So Yakub. Yeah, you know the story. So what happened was, because he had the brain, 2 brains.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Beings that had come down from, different star systems. And the ones that he was able to use was the Dravidians, because their nature was already quite wicked and weak. And he used them to graft your flugorots from that. Yeah, the Dravidians, who you know as your Hindus. That's another term saying Hindus. But really, your Dravidians, there's like, they branch off from your Aborigines. You see the Aborigines you see today? Those are your Dravidians. And then from that, different branches of them has come about. Yeah. So from that, he used the process and was able to do experiments where he would take the brown germ, or the one that's more melanated, and then reduce the melanation to the point where it became a brown germ, to a yellow germ, and all the way down to the white germ. And when he's able to get that seed, then he was able to create your flugeros, who were very animalistic. Do you see what I'm saying? But he wanted to show that he had power and could rule them. And most of them escaped and went into the mountains, etc., and lived in those mountains. And some of them were used and separated. You can find this in a book called Bigfoot, Kabir Kadam, where some of them were taken to a place in Turkey where it's called Darun Kuya in the Turkey's name. It was an actual fortress that was built specifically for them, and they were housed below ground. Do you see what I'm saying? To live in the mountains of Turkey. And they lived there for thousands of years, unbeknown to anybody. Because extraterrestrials were the ones that removed them, put them there. And due to the fact that there was wars taking place on the planet. There's been a lot of wars and disagreements by extraterrestrials on this planet. Do you know what I mean? It's happening now, just that we don't acknowledge that as extraterrestrials. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Theo, I have a question. Apologize for that lack of transmission, loss of transmission, but we're back live. And those who were on Clubhouse, if you could jump onto Zoom or have jumped on, welcome. Apologies for that. Yes, Theo, ask your question, please. Try and see what I can see.
It's a little bit unrelated from what we're talking about at the minute, but is there any kind of explanation you'd have for me keeping on seeing the number 33 everywhere? Like, I've noticed quite recently over like the past month, every single time I keep seeing 33 on, like, even if it's a door number or amount of viewers. I remember Saken mentioned it in a YouTube video, but he said he's not sure. Yeah.
Are you talking about specifically the number or just the fact that you're seeing double digits?
No, the number specifically 33.
I honestly couldn't give you an answer for that. We are ontologists. So what I can say to you on the ontological aspect is that number systems are very powerful in nature. You with me? So you have to look at the synchronicities of these numbers and how it correlates or relates to your life. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then start to work towards trying to understand it. And sometimes those understandings or understanding comes by way of you doing your meditations, just what I'm saying, speaking to your relatives who have transitioned to another state and honing in on that so that they can give you some kind of inspiration or revelation into what's happening. But for us to interpret what that means to you, we don't do that. Do you with me?
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you know what I'm talking about though, where people
Yeah,
call it like
no,
names and
well,
numbers or something?
I get it too. So sometimes you look on your phone and you say 2323. You look somewhere else, it says 1111. You know, so you're seeing these random number sequences that keep popping up, you know what I mean? And I would like to say this, and maybe it's coming to me, but the master teacher alluded to it in a lecture long time ago. And what he's explaining is that as you're moving into a different dimensional shift, you're going to see a lot of these things happening. But don't quote me too much on that. There's a tape that I listened to a long lecture a long time ago. And it stuck with me because at that time when I was coming through, wu-SABAT and learning about who I was, etc., I was seeing a lot of those numbers then. Just I was seeing a lot of like numbers equating to double digits, etc. And then I heard the lecture, but the lecture I can never remember the title of it. So I hope one day I can be led and find it and I can share it with everybody. But he does break it down in the lecture. I know that.
Okay, Tartak, thank you.
Cool.
You're
Right
welcome.
back. Theo, check your chat as well, yeah?
Okay, Tartak.
Theo.
All right. We've got questions online?
Yeah, we've got a question here from T. Are there any scrolls which speak about the moon cycles in relation to menstrual cycles?
Oh, Tua. Sorry, I was just looking for something. I guess goddess creators. Yeah, goddess creators and other and sacred feminine. Yeah, those if you're familiar with those titles, so it's the Gospel of Yanun to the sacred feminine, goddess creators, and another one called M other, which is a master's secret. Those are the three that I can give the total, yeah, remember the top of my head. But yeah, as you know, the cycles of the female is in line up with the moon. Yeah.
And then we've got a question from Skyphone. If you have enough powerful speakers and a soundproof cabin, can you lift off the ground, and would that work in space? I think it is. I'm not sure whether the master teacher has spoken about it, but
No,
yeah, on YouTube you see where they've got speakers and they do these types of experiments. So I personally don't know.
Yeah. Noise frequencies and vibrations like that.
What?
About 18.
What the cycles you mean? Or you're talking about the speakers?
Oh, no, the chanting.
With the chanting. Oh, okay, well wait. Tour.
Fact number 18.
Actual fact number 18, tones, vibration, and frequencies, and DNA molecules. Yeah. Okay, that ties into what the brother's asking, yeah, or sister's asking regarding that. Okay. Yeah, if you seek out that, it's a long title, so that's why we never kind of remember it in what order it's in. But it's actual fact number 18. Yeah. That alludes to sound and how you can use sound to be able to lift or move objects. So yeah, it's potentially possible. Yeah, and plus with your own voice as well. Yeah. Any other questions? You don't get this, you know, you get buy one, get one free, you know. Do you know what I mean? Got two teachers up here. Come on. All right. Rahubat. Any question? Do you have a question?
It's Nicole. You hear me?
Nicole, yeah, we can hear you. It's a bit
Rahubat.
yeah, Rahubat.
Hello?
Tua.
You
Rahubat.
hear me now? Yeah.
Tua.
Yep.
Overall, the toddler is supposed to start sleeping by themselves.
No, we didn't hear that. Could you put it in the chat if possible? Because it sounds muffled what you're speaking from.
Hold on.
Okay, we'll hold on.
Yes. Overall, a toddler is supposed to start sleeping by themselves.
So your question is, how old should a child should be sleeping by
Yeah, a
themselves?
toddler is supposed to be sleeping by themselves.
A toddler. It all depends on the toddler's amount. It all depends on the toddler. But you can add to this as well because you know we're all parents here, isn't it? So we can it's easily built. But I would answer it like this: if you're able to create a safe environment and a calm environment for that child, most of the time they will tend to feel safe and be asleep, and reassurance that you're just next door. You're just close by, you're not far away, etc. But it really the spectrum is vast. Do you know what I mean? I can't say to you 4 years old, 6, 2, you with me? But yeah, it all depends on. And when you're saying sleeping by themselves, in your room and you leave them to sleep by themselves, or in a separate room for them to sleep by themselves?
In a separate room by themselves.
Yeah. Like I said, we can all give different answers here as parents because it all depends on the child. But ideally, if you want to have a foundation for starting it, will be to create an environment that a child will feel safe in. With me. If they like certain things, then you know, put a mood light in there, put tones in there that they might like, certain colors, you know, prepare them before bed, you know, the usual bedtime story, maybe. All of these things is all prerequisite, they're all required really to settle a child so that they can sleep in a separate room by themselves. So yeah, I don't think there's a one glove answer in it or one umbrella answer to his.
Yeah.
Each child is different, man. Each child is different.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Zamata.
I think you said fair enough.
Oh,
I
fair
said,
enough.
I said fair enough. I said
Yeah,
fair enough.
yeah. And yeah, scenarios are different, man. My daughter's like me. She just put her head down and just to be off like in 10 seconds, she was sleeping. While my son's like opposite, like his mom. He'll be up forever. Like, aren't you tired? So yeah. And yeah, it's different. Any other questions?
Yeah. Just wondering if there was
Tawu
some.
antax, mom.
Antatira for Zamata. We've got Skyphone. Would building houses underground double housing? Okay. Maybe rephrase your question in another way because I don't quite understand that. Skyphone. D is, was there any relevance of the appearance this week of the so-called beaver moon? Does anyone know any relevance? Beaver moon? No. Just know that the moon has an effect on like female's menstrual cycle and also the mental state of human beings on the planet because of the gases that it gives off. Yeah, the moon, when it traps or takes on the energy from the sun, it has the ability to convert the sun's energy into negative gases and can also what's the word? Project it or diffuse it into the Earth's atmosphere. So this is the term why you get the term lunatic. You with me? Because you look at the first four letters, you're saying you're looking at the word luna. Okay, and luna goes back to the Latin, which means the moon or an object in the sky, etc. But really, it's really one of their six ether forces, because it's a name given, it's an actual title of one of their six ether deities or whatever the case may be. Just like they have Saturn, you have Jupiter, you have Mars. Okay, these are actually six ether names that we call as our planetary bodies. Do you know what I mean? The planetary system, but it's actually named after their six ether forces. So, we have our own names which we can use, and yeah, just be mindful. That's really what I can say.
No.
Moon cycle, sun cycle.
Tour. Yeah. So we have the two cycles. We have the moon cycle, and the moon cycle that gives off six ether gases. Okay, and that cycle affects the way we think and the way we act and the way we behave, etc., towards each other and also to ourselves. So that's that, and then it's a cycle where it births negative forces on the planet. And then you have the sun cycle, which has the opposite effect. So it will give more positivity to the planet. And the ether that it generates from the sun, we breathe this in as well. In fact, let me, yeah. Also, there's another question, but I'll bring up something that ties into the gases.
Right. While Zamal Hussein is looking at that, Kobe, do you want to ask a question?
Zamal, it's a very quick one where you're talking about the moon. I've heard this phrase of people talking about the dark side of the moon. Does that mean that we, even though we're both rotating, we only see one side of the moon?
Sure.
Okay.
Because the moon's ability to rotate was in fact stopped when the crash happened with Nibiru. Remember, there was many different crashes, and one broke off and became your moon. However, what's being explained now, okay, is that the moon that we're looking at is actually artificial. That's been put there by extraterrestrials, the Greys, and they use that as a station to monitor humans on the planet. So it's actually a fake satellite that's up there. Obviously, you know, that's again the master teacher giving us out formation, which is not going to be embraced by everybody, but we know who he is. And when he tells us certain things, more than likely it's going to come out. Someone's going to say it. There's going to be a documentary about it. Do you know what I mean? And then, but know that the master teachers explain that the Earth, the planet, the moon that we see is actually a space station that extraterrestrials use to monitor humans on the planet. And
yeah, that clarifies a lot. I just wanted to add something to that. I think what I was watching, I think it was just one of those, you know, space documentaries, and something about when the US went up. No, was it the US or there was a particular country that went up to the moon. Right?
Yeah, it was Russia first.
Was it Russia? Yeah.
Russia, and then they had the whole space race thing.
Yes. Yeah. And then I think when one of them were up there, I think it was the Americans, but what I think happened is that they entered a particular part of the moon, and then the mics and everything shut off for a couple minutes. And then I think there was one person that was describing like the music. There was like there was a particular music coming from somewhere, and then things just got a bit weird for a second. And then I think they saw something, and then all of a sudden they just switched back and everything went back to normal. So it was something about where they kind of entered the dark side of the moon. They got like really freaked out about it, and then just continued on their path. But I just wanted to ask, just pertaining to that.
Sure. Yeah.
Tauta.
No, Tauta for letting us know.
Have you found that piece?
Not yet.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just in terms of Kobe, Theo gave a response there. He said the Moonfall movie explains that aspect. So you may want to consider watching that movie.
Have a question? Oh, Wally.
You see how sleep and death are not too far apart from one another? Does that mean that we should be doing for ourselves before sleep what we used to do for our ancestors when they die? So anoint them in perfumed oils, clothe them in muslin, as in like natural materials, chant over them and give them certain symbols so that they can make the transition easier. I'm just saying it because if our souls decide to travel, then will we not also need all of those things with us?
You're talking about amulets and stuff like that?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was what we were doing. We had amulets, we had symbols, we had all of that was decorated on the walls, decorated in the coffins or the sarcophagus. Do you know what I'm saying? We had certain oils that would also protect the actual skin cells. You with me? Because remember, our ancestors, the whole essence was that they were to come back and then rejuvenate by using the cells of that pharaoh or whatever to reanimate them. You understand? So that was the whole process. But yes, it's a protection that we are supposed to do. And we'll be taught those rituals as when our master teacher is out with us. Yeah, if you want to elaborate.
Are you speaking about every night when you go to bed?
Sure, because I'm assuming that when you go to sleep, you are in a very, well, unless you're doing certain things before you sleep, you could be in a position where you're very unprotected, if that makes sense. So you would have to do all of those things to make sure that you're protecting yourself. And then also, if your soul goes to do certain things while your body is unconscious.
Right, I'm with you. So you're talking about your own personal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, I misunderstood you. I beg your pardon. I can't say no and I can't say yes. It's your individual personal protection and what you feel is right. Do you get what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it. Because if that's what you need, Just what I'm saying, in order to give you that protection or to feel that you're protected, then utilize it. You with me? But I can't say to you that it's not right to do in wu-SABAT, because wu-SABAT is all about sound right reasoning. We know that certain amulets and certain incantations work. You know what I'm saying? So you find what works for you within the framework of what wu-SABAT teaches. And wu-SABAT teaches that we should use incantations. You see what I'm saying? We should use certain oils, etc. So that's what you need in order when you make that transition to have a protection over you, then ultimately that's your decision. In saying that, you also know that you have your ancestors, as long as you made that etheric link with them, they do protect you anyway. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's about the sincerity and the intent behind what you're thinking when you go to bed. If you're going to go to bed in an angry state, then you're not having that protection, because what's being taught is that if you're unbalanced, you with me, and you're vibrating on a certain frequency, you shouldn't pray or chant to your ancestors. Why? Because your vehicle and your portal to the other realms, to the other dimensions. You follow? Yeah. Remember your whole chakras, these are vortexes. They are energy centers, which are dimensional gateways to the other realms. You follow? So if you're in a state where you're unbalanced, or you're in an angry state or whatever, then you can open up those gateways. Also, oh, let me finish it. My time. Yeah. Then same way likewise, if you're in a positive energetic state, you with me, and you know that you're calling on your ancestors, the vibration there is that if you do open up that gateway portal, they're able to have a connection with you, which they can protect you in that realm. Do you see what I'm saying? But they can't protect you in that realm if you're vibrant in a particular state, because this is what happens. Because there's dimensions and you can move from a dimension into the higher realms, your thoughts, your energy, etc., transmits into those realms. You with me? Now, what you have to realize is thoughts have shape, have color, have weight, have all of these things, which then from a etheric point of view to a manifestation, you see what I'm saying, it's what your thoughts are about. So if you give that thought and energy and it transcends into those higher realms, it can manifest in that higher realm. Did you follow? And then it can attack or destroy what's in those higher realms. Ask your question.
But if your vibration is low, but your intention is to heighten it, but you're just saying that you shouldn't. So I'm confused.
So if your vibration is low,
Sure.
yeah, you still have a high intention, but the intention, it should be in a state where you're balanced before you decide to do any form of chanting, etc.
But would the chanting bring you back into balance?
I think,
I hear what you're saying.
yeah, but I think yes and no. I think what's useful is to get the balance first, you may want to consider doing breath work.
Exactly.
Once you do the breath work,
yeah,
you let's go for lack of a better word, you ground yourself.
That's right. You've got to ground yourself first. You see what I'm saying? Because I could say, for instance, I'm upset, yeah, or not feeling the right frame of mind, but I'm going to start chanting anyway. You get what I'm saying? To get myself into that frequency. What you're really supposed to do, as the brother said, is ground yourself first. You with me? And then do the chant, because you're still allowing certain energies or forces to manipulate that. Go ahead. That's correct. Yeah.
So what if your vibration isn't low, but it's heading towards that direction? So then you're trying to chant to kind of keep it from dipping to the point of 60, if that makes sense. Is it still a point appropriate? I'll give you an example. Say if you're out and about doing your normal day and somebody does something super disrespectful to you, and the 6 ether in you wants to punch them in the nose, but the 9 ether in you wants to keep the peace. So in the back of your mind, you're there doing the chant in your head to kind of keep you
Grounded.
grounded, yeah.
So it's all about the grounding.
Yeah, but you said don't chant if you're not grounded.
No,
but-
we
but-
said is ground yourself first,
Yeah.
then chant.
Yeah, but you have to, if you ground yourself, that means you're not grounded if you have to ground yourself before you chant. Do you see why I'm confused?
Yeah, but
Go on,
if
go
I
on.
may,
If you may, yeah, go on.
from what I can hear is you want to use the chant to ground you.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
in the order
Uh-huh.
of doing things, you want to ground yourself
So
first. For example, when you have an experience of you really getting angry, quite often naturally you feel like you give yourself a long exhale. Yeah. They call it blowing off steam, as it were. Right. So that is using the breath
That's right.
to calm/ground yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So and then also, I mean, we now know that we have choices. It's not about what happens to us, it's how we respond to things that happens to us. And we have that choice. I can choose to be angry, I can choose to be okay with it, I can choose to bless a person who's just been really unkind to me. Right? Or we can use our breath to ground and then respond in a different way.
Yeah. Well, wait.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna read something from, I think this is it, in the Black Book Part 2. It goes into the teaching, a question, what did the Egyptian teach about Apophis? But verse 195, it goes, Leviathan can manifest itself as the sun god Shamash at one time, the earth god Adama at another time, the moon god Baal. So that ties into the moon question regarding, at another time, and the star god Ashtaroth at still another time, or it can manifest itself as a combination of two or all four at the same time. Question. Is this the same as the Adam in the Bible and Quran? Verse 196. The group called Adam 6,000 years ago was incarnation of earth god known as Eretz, earth, Adama, ground in Hebrew, Dagon in Mesopotamia, Zeus in Greek, Jesus in Roman, Baal in Akkadian, Eli in Ugarit, Jehovah in Hebrew, Gad in Canaanite, Gut in German, which became God in English, etc. Moreover, Leviathan is God at one time and the devil at another time, or both at the same time. God as Gad, 10th letter in Hebrew, Yod, short for Yah or Jah, Psalm 68 verse 4. And Jah is short for Jehovah from YHWH. The 10th letter in English is J of Jah. Gad means troop. Torah, Genesis chapter 49 verse 19. They were the protectors or guardians, gods, over the other tribes of Israel. God or God, Gad, which became Gut in German. The devil has equal powers with God, yes. Their devil and God is the same being and has the same power. And of course, this means that Leviathan is very powerful and very deceptive. In fact, Leviathan is the forces of trickery, deception, and hypocrisy. Question, what is Leviathan? This is the main part. Leviathan is the spirit forces of the Bible and Quran. Leviathan is 6 ether. That is spirit fire as amber light that produces ghost. Ghost is the spirit of a dead person. Leviathan in Phoenician is a serpent monster who inhabits the deep. It must be noted that the Phoenicians were excellent mariners, people of the sea. If the reader understands this paragraph, he or she can understand the scrolls called the Sacred Records of Atum-Re. There's a part also goes into more of the spirit gases. Yeah, here you go. So the liberation forces, verse 253. The liberation forces for black people, Moors, are not God, Jesus, Lord, Christ, Allah, Rab, Jehovah, Yahweh, nor the spirit power names of any other race. The liberation forces of Nubians, woolly-haired people by nature in 9 Ether, whose scientific name will be disclosed in our science, wu-nuwaupu. 9 Ether is the original creative forces that made these booklets possible. Ether means in Middle English upper air, from Latin ether and Greek aether. Ghost is the lowest and ether is the highest, anu or on. The forces of 9 ether, called black forces, created life in the water first. Hydrocarbons were present in these waters. Hydrocarbon is a simple methane or benzene gas, which also contains hydrogen and carbon. The celestial origin, just going to skip a bit, the celestial origins of all Nuwaupians who are now trapped behind the 9 ball or planets of this new solar system. Okay, so what I'm trying to read here is that you have these ghost forces, okay, that manifest in different forms. And part of that is the names of the name Luna, the moon cycle, Jehovah, all of these are gas forces. Do you see what I'm saying? And these gas forces have names applied to them, but they are absorbed and inhaled into the beat of your being, and they in turn affect the way your mental process works as well. Okay, so that's what these ghost forces are able to do in a person. Right, so hence why we have a niggerish mentality, hence why we don't get along and we argue, etc. Is because you have ghost forces that are affecting us on a constant basis because we're inhaling it in. Yes,
Robert. So can these 6 ether ghost forces work in the evolutionary cycle? Or you know, the SMAT circle? Can you explain about how these forces would work, or do they have any power in the revolutionary cycle extended?
They only have power in the sense that there's the people that already are affected by it keep perpetuating it. But in the greatest scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, no, because we're in a revolutionary cycle. So the 9 ether forces will eventually remove them. But unfortunately, because there's people who are affected by ghost and their mentality is ghost or 6 ether, they keep perpetuating the same negative nigger mentality. You see what I'm saying? Until we as wu-SABAT Sabians, that's our job. Our job is to help them remove those gas forces from their mental, and from their minds.
So with that being said, that type of mindset, can that flourish in this new revolutionary cycle?
It's not supposed to flourish. It's not supposed to flourish. But as I read here, the state of mental death has befallen the minds of many Nuwaupians, having forgotten their origin as a race. Negro negative mentality, negative mind, is one which is void of real universal knowledge of self and kind. If they're able to accept that of who they are, their origin, their self and kind, 9 ether forces will prevail over them and will get stronger in the atmosphere. But yes, definitely. Ultimately, that's what's going to happen. But we have to make it happen. It's not like it's not waiting on God, hands together and kumbaya. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to work towards this liberation. It's a liberating force, but you have to work towards it. Yeah. Told you.
We've got Rita on Zoom. Rita, do you want to unmute and ask a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Tua. Loud and clear.
Raubat. So my question is related to the moon. I've understood that it is a satellite and it's artificial, but I really want to understand how it affects human beings. Are the gases that are coming off of the moon, is this strategically being done by the entities that are, monitoring us? And why is it only on the full moon when it seems, because I've noticed it, people drive very differently and act very differently during a full moon. But is that just on a full moon at the times that people are being affected?
Into that?
Yeah, I think no. I'll pass.
No. Yeah, Rita is heightened more on the full moon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's heightened more on the full moon because it's obviously those gases are permeated more. Now, the satellite, it being a satellite, means that creating a sound or energy that can be emitted from the satellite, okay, just like they're able to now change the frequency on the planet by way of the HARP project. So they can actually create sounds that can come from the moon. And you can actually, if you do your research, people have actually heard sounds coming from the moon. Okay, so these sounds can be emitted into the atmosphere, which can also affect the way people behave and think. Also, there's the master explained in I Came to Right the Wrong. There's a lecture, if you can look it up, it's called I Came to Right the Wrong.
Okay.
And on there, he explains that they've got certain music called, I forgot the name. Can anyone remember? He was talking about how he has like the OM plane all the time on the land. He had the OM plane because they have the ability to increase the frequency, like on the weekend. Yeah, during the weekend, yeah, they can actually increase the frequency during the especially close to the weekend. Everything becomes hyper. Just what I'm saying. And then by Sunday, it drops down. So they have the ability to do that as well, which can affect the way people perceive and think and behave. And that's also part of it. So it's a lot of different things going on. It's not just one thing. Do you know what I mean? The aspect is the sound that it can be generated by way of these extraterrestrials or entities. And you also have the projects that they're doing on the planet, which can also affect the way people act and behave.
Okay. And so this is all very strategically done now.
Yeah. Strategic. I mean, I'm going to read again. This is another part I found. The question is asked in the Black Book on the question is there any qualified leader that can help us? And verse 3-4 answers like this. I wu-nuwaup, the writer of booklets entitled The Sacred Records of Neter Aferti Atum Re, your only true savior, unqualified by the forces of nature to receive and disclose universal knowledge, unveil the past, emphasize the present, and blueprint the future. What I write is meant to destroy the barriers between woolly-haired people and their spiritual signs and heritage in general. Verse 3-6. Universal forces cannot beneficially and effectively work for you and with you as long as so many minds among you are so negative, because negative mind attracts negative forces, and those negative forces destroy you and cause you to destroy yourselves by division. Verse 3-7. All the so-called black groups, one by one, are falling to the wayside. We only still stand strong and lead the struggle for the liberation of our people. If you attest to how long we've been around as Ansar Allah, Nubian Islamic Hebrews, all the way down to Musbatu Sabians, Nuwaupians, you know we've had a long stretch of trying to liberate our people in whatever shape or form it comes in. Question, what do we need? Verse 3-8. You need positive mentality to offset the negative. Then you will have the brain power necessary to identify yourselves with the universal forces, and they will help and protect you. Question: What about belief and trust in God? When the Caucasian meets someone who does not believe in their God, that is ghost, he calls that person an atheist against God, because there are two kinds of spirit, ghost and ether. Therefore, if a person is not of ghost, that is a dead God, he or she must be of ether, a living God. Hence, he or she is called atheist by Caucasians. Ghost, break it down, is G, host, or co-host, hast, host. Angelic beings, Elohim, a plural for God from single, Eloha, source. A dead God that helps Caucasians enslave your people, who's the very spirit behind white racism, their white brotherhood with their white, I think this it's a bit typo here. I'm not sure what that says. Turn away from their white ghost God. Atheists and etherists have the same original or etymological meaning, not God or not of God, because if one was originally created by ether instead of ghost, that person by nature is not God and not of their God, not a believer. A person originally created by ether can and most likely will become of God and created by their own black God mentally and physically. The black mind during the end of the cycle of their God, the moon cycle of 17,250,000 years ago, this is a complete moon cycle and an incomplete sun and moon cycle takes place within it, each of 6,000 years. Ghost, the spirit of Caucasians, represents death for Nuwaupians and is therefore against Nuwaupians. 9 ether of Nuwaupians represents life. And of course, life and death are opposites, just like blacks and whites are opposites. Even the whites are merely sick blacks, but not sick negroids. However, sick Hindu Indians, the original Aboriginals, Asiatic black people, that's why they have the same hair and nose and lips, etc. Moreover, death is an enemy of life, just as the whites is an enemy of the blacks. So don't get this, please don't get this misconstrued when we say whites and blacks, etc., and think all whites are, devils, etc. As the masters explained to us, the different descriptions or species, okay? The ones that we're referring to more are the Adamites. They're the ones that caused most of the destruction on this planet, okay? But the other ones that have lived here and are in harmony with the natural nature. Okay, mindful of the time, so we might have to go into this in another class.
We can just latch on to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Saul has asked, how many times has the earth been born?
Gosh. It's had many birthday records, so as the master explained how many, it's just been through a lot. It was named Tiwawat, Tiamat, Patanun, Tamaray. It's gone through many different birthday records, because when we say birthday, it's not like it has been destroyed, but it also has had a regeneration. So was it? Replenishing. Thank you, Tawata. Yeah, it's had a replenishing. When we talk about Earth, understand what Earth is. Yeah, it's a home away from home for extraterrestrials. That's what the original meaning of the word is from the word Eretz. Okay, and it ties in with home away from home. From the root word of it is called Iridu. Iridu. Yeah. These were the beings that came here from on high to this landmass, and then when the Greeks got hold of it, it became Earth from the root word Eretz, which goes into the word Iridu, which means home away from home. So these extraterrestrials, yeah, they've Earth has gone through many replenishing cycles, because that's what they do. It gets to a certain cycle, and humans are not, either humans or animals are not progressing or being taken out by other animals. They have to replenish and start again. It's like a bit like a laboratory in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Where if you're a scientist and you know about laboratory work, the experiment's not going correct, we have to start again. You with me? Until we can perfect it. So our job is to perfect us. If we put in practice what this being has been saying for the last how many years, 50 years to us. You know, Dr. Malachi Z. York has been teaching us, preparing us. If we ask the right questions and we practice the love and the unity, etc., we could, you know, be running this planet long time ago, and also the replenishment wouldn't have to happen. You with me? It has to happen because we've destroyed the planet, you know.
One last question.
Tua.
Earth is X amount of billions of years old. You know the Earth is X amount of billions of years old. How many advanced civilizations have come and gone?
Too many to
more advanced.
more. Yeah, there has been. That's what I'm saying. I think I'm glad you asked that because we don't take that into consideration. We don't take that for you know, for granted that there's been cycles, and within those cycles, other cultures have made the grade and have been removed off the planet. And the Mayans will be an example. You with me? Because when you say Maya, you're talking about the word which is a Hindu or Sanskrit, which means illusion. But the word illusion is, why is it called an illusion? Is because they were taken. You see what I'm saying? They were removed off the planet. But the word that was used for that removal of them, because they disappeared, the word was used was Maya, which means illusion, to disappear. You see, but they were actually taken off the planet. That's one culture that didn't, you know, survived the cycle, and then they were brought back. You see, so that's just something to think about. That we are in another cycle where, if we don't perfect our being and raised and taken off this planet, and the masters is broken down in an update about where we will be taken to. You see what I'm saying?
You know, earlier on you mentioned about Atlantis. What about Lu and Numeria?
That's enough. Tawata, yeah. That's all this. Yeah, you're sparking. Yeah, you're getting the neurons to fire. But yeah, was it Lemuria and Moon and Atlantis? There's been so many. There's been a lot of different times where different cultures have evolved to a point where they can be removed. And then if you go back into the Sirius star system, you see what I'm saying, where beings were there, and they also were warned that there's going to be a collapse of this star, and that the beings there have to be taken to a higher level so that they can evade the catastrophe. But it didn't happen. Some didn't make the grade. So then the cells of their being was then utilized by Ptah, our overseer, injected into the dolphin and brought to another realm known as Earth for us to start again. So that's why we're here, essentially, because we didn't make the grade. Yeah.
You know, you said
Now the questions are firing now.
Sorry. Oh, you know, you said
time, yeah.
the artificial sun is
the moon.
Artificial moon,
yeah.
Not artificial sun.
No, moon.
Okay, to monitor the humans.
That's right.
In what way would they be monitoring us? What's the monitoring?
Our behavior pattern, whether they're evolving, because okay, so you see how the fallen, the 200 fallen, the ones that fell to this planet or were cast out from wherever they were, that was their job. They were supposed to monitor the Adamites. So there's been certain extraterrestrials given responsibilities. The Greys monitor a specific type. We have the Rumadian Greys who monitor us and report back to Parnabab by way of Krill, Alomar, Sa'at, etc. They monitor us, report back to Parnabab. That's why people think the being doesn't know what's going on. They report back and they let us know. So he's writing a report about our behavior as a species. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have the Rumadian Greys who are actually watching us and report back and critiquing everything and writing it into our book of life. Do you see what I'm saying? And we all have a disc. Remember, everyone here has a disc that is recorded on, and that disc will be taken and it will be played. And then you have ascending and descending masters who will determine whether you qualify, make the grade. If you don't, you come back again as another life wave and start again in the cells and start from a protozoa, an amoeba, and on and on and on until you graduate. Yeah. So some of us, we feel like, I don't want to do that no more. I want to, you know what I mean? And some of us, like, we just started because there are beings that are still coming here and restarting. So it's our job. Our job is to just wake up as many as we can.
We've got the CCTV watching us.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got our ancestors watching us as well. Yeah. Okay. And that's it.
I think just a quick yes or no. Was Nikola Tesla a Venusian?
Tua. He was a Venetian.
Explain the book of names.
Could you explain the book of what the book of names are? Have to probably be more specific regarding that. But it's the master teacher has a book of names that is written into, or he writes a book of names of those who are going to be making it or are worthy to make it, etc. And that's written in the book of names, if that's what you're referring to. Or you could be probably asking something else. I'm not too sure. That was it. Moonfall movie explains it. Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic.
Moisar, we come to another ending of our Q&A. I'll be back next week for another Q&A. So you have an opportunity again to drill my head with questions. Tawakum, Moisar. Yeah, it wouldn't be able to do this class without your input and your participation. Live wu-SABAT, let wu-SABAT work for you. That's all I can say. It is real. Your ancestors are real. Link into them. Focus on the freedom of our master teacher that is walking amongst us, because he has many jewels that he can impart on us. So focus on his freedom. It's very close. And yes, you do hear that, and it is very close, but just keep on focusing, whether he comes in your dreams or not. But, you know, give him our shook, send him love as well, because where he's at, sometimes, you know what I mean, we actually take it for granted where he's actually incarcerated, but it's not a nice place. Yeah. So, do all of that, have a lovely, peaceful weekend, and see you in the next class. Sorry. OSM has moved to OSM. Where's it now? We're OSM Kaya. Is that right, Saken? If you could just give us the new platform that people can reach into. Is he there? Or I just said. So it's OSM.
Who was my mic was muted.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we've shut down the WhatsApp kayak group, and everyone's moved on to the Telegram group, which was actually posted in the group before we shut it down. But yeah, OSM, ask us anything on Telegram. That's because we were repeating information in 2 different places and it didn't make sense. So yeah, where we are.
All right. Okay. Somebody's trying to come in, Ricardo now. Ricardo, next week, my brother. We'll be here, we promise. All right. Wadu, Moisar, take care. Ashok.
Wadu.
Who is God? God is God. I found out that this man, who was Dr. Malachi York, this free eye actors thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't, because the Arabs are messing everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet
extraterrestrial do leave their children here, we can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds.
Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building this craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. That means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.